Universe 3 is proving to be a great testing ground too.
Feast your eyes! This is Golden Metal Cooler. How magnificent!
Inside the cold, imposing galactic fleet ship, Frieza stared into the dark space through the enormous command window, his eyes half closed, his arms crossed, and his breath held. His evil aura pulsed silently. Frieza thought, Goku, Gohan, always surrounded by powerful allies. Whis, Beerus, even that damned Saiyan who once swore fealty to me now bows before the gods. A low hum echoed through the ship, coming from the constantly operating machinery. Frieza ignored it all. His mind was steeped in bitterness and envy. Frieza took a breath. His tail flickered slightly like a reptile about to strike. Frieza thought, although my new form makes me superior to them, I am still an army of one, and even the gods can be defeated with the right pieces on the board. Frieza screamed in rage, finally breaking the silence. Subordinate! Bring me all the records, maps, and coordinates of the location where Cooler was destroyed. I have plans. The subordinate swallowed hard, trembling slightly. Yes, Mr. Frieza. Immediately! Hours later, the fleet's reconnaissance ship landed on an unknown planet near a rocky valley where the last confrontation with the ancient metal cooler had occurred. Under Frieza's command, drones and soldiers spent days excavating, analyzing, and collecting what remained. Buried metal fragments, corroded components, a piece of energy core still pulsing faintly. After hours of work, everyone was back on the Great Emperor's ship. Frieza surveyed the remains piled up in front of the regeneration chamber. Frieza thought, is this my brother's legacy? A pile of scrap defeated by a low-class Saiyan? Pathetic. But if the big gate star could do it once, I can do better. Frieza walked slowly to the main panel, where the fleet engineers were waiting for him. Use the same technology that rebuilt me after my death. Recreate Cooler's body. Better yet, bring back Metal Cooler and make him perfect. The subordinate hesitated. Sir, the process will require enormous energy, perhaps weeks to stabilize Cooler's entire body. Frieza spoke coldly. Then burn planets if necessary. But finish it. I want my brother back. Days passed. Inside the reconstruction pod, Cooler's metallic body began to take shape. Based on data from the Big Geat Star, the machine recreated a new body, stronger, faster, and with optimized energy. The hardest part was restoring consciousness. Frieza watched the chamber with fascination and contempt. Frieza thought, my brother always wanted to surpass me, but he failed. This time he will be my weapon, my shadow, my extension. No free will, only obedience. Outside, soldiers murmured about the Emperor's decision. Some feared the return of the old metal cooler. They remembered the time he'd multiplied himself thousands of times. But no one dared challenge Frieza. Meanwhile, inside the regeneration room, the energy core began to glow brightly. The capsule hissed. Vapors and smoke enveloped the slowly rising metallic figure. Frieza took a breath, raising his hand. A solemn silence fell over the room. Frieza thought, yes, the era of the Z fighters ends now. With Goku distracted among the gods and Vegeta tamed by family pride, the universe will fall before the rebirth of true terror. The capsule exploded in a bluish light. A metallic sound echoed like thunder. From within the chamber, a tall, gleaming figure emerged. His red eyes glowed in the gloom. The new metal cooler had awakened. He looked around slowly, recognizing the place, and then his eyes fell on Frieza. Metal Cooler spoke in a deep, robotic voice. "Brother, did you bring me back?" Frieza smiled, a smile that hid dark intentions. Frieza replied, "Welcome back to the Empire, Cooler. We have a universe to reclaim." Metal Cooler spoke in a cold voice. "So, tell me, was it you who brought me back?" Frieza replied disdainfully, "Of course it was me. And not out of longing, brother, but because the time has come to bury the worms who dared to humiliate our race." Metal Cooler turned his face away, as if searching his digital memory for a memory that still bothered him, and it was then that a flashback appeared in his data. In the final scene, Goku holds a huge energy sphere in his hands. It was the final attack, the blow that would seal the fate of Metal Cooler and the Big Jeet Star's core. Goku shouted, "Take this! This is your end!" The wave of energy consumed everything. Everything exploded, the core collapsed, and Metal Cooler let out a robotic scream before disintegrating completely. Metal Cooler snapped back to reality, staring at Frieza with an expression of restrained fury. Metal Cooler spoke, "I was destroyed by a warrior who wasn't even a god, just a Saiyan with unshakable willpower." Frieza approached, his tail swinging slowly. Frieza spoke. He was much more than that. Since then, Goku has allied himself with the gods. He trained with Whis, the Angel of Universe 7, for years. He learned to control his mind, empty his spirit, and awaken the so-called Ultra Instinct. A state where the body moves on its own, without thought. Not even I could keep up with his movements. Cooler narrowed his eyes. Metal Cooler asked, "And the other one? The prince?" Frieza replied with contempt, "Vegeta. Always obsessed with surpassing Goku, and he achieved something of his own. A power called Ultra Ego, a destructive technique taught by Beerus, the god of destruction himself. He enjoys taking damage. His strength increases the more he's beaten. Those two are dangerous. Together, they're practically gods," Cooler muttered. "And yet, you brought me back. What's changed?" Frieza opened his arms slowly, a vicious glint in his eyes. Frieza spoke. "They made the mistake of relying too much on their own powers. They became complacent. Goku lost himself among the gods. Vegeta settled in with his family. I, on the other hand, I took my time." Frieza took a few steps back, and then his body began to emit a sinister energy. A black and purple aura enveloped him as his skin took on a dark glow. His muscles swelled, his eyes turning as cold as ice. The entire ship trembled slightly. Cooler took a step back in surprise. Metal Cooler spoke. "What is this?" Frieza smiled, his tone icy and authoritative. Frieza replied, "This is my new form. Black Frieza. I achieved this state after only 4 months of intensive training in a time-dilated dimension. Within, I experienced years of battle. I became the most powerful being in the entire known universe." Cooler watched with trepidation. Metal Cooler thought, "This energy, it eclipses anything I've ever felt. Not even the power of the Big Gite Star was so pure, so lethal." Frieza walked toward his brother. Frieza spoke. "Do you still think I was reckless in bringing you back?" Cooler was silent for a moment, then lowered his head. Metal Cooler replied, "No, I was defeated by Goku because I thought I was invincible, but now I understand. I was just an incomplete piece." Frieza returned to his base form and placed his hand on his brother's metallic shoulder. Frieza spoke. "So listen, Cooler, you will not have free will. Not this time. You will be my weapon, my soldier. But if you are faithful, if you agree to train under my tutelage, I will make you more powerful than any warrior we have ever faced." Cooler looked up, now determined. Metal Cooler spoke. "And what do you propose?" Frieza smiled arrogantly. Frieza replied, 1 year, a whole year of training. I will do to you what the gods did to Goku and Vegeta, but in our own way. You won't learn to empty yourself. You'll learn to destroy." Cooler nodded, his voice now deeper and more confident. Metal Cooler spoke. "Then let's begin. I want revenge. I want to crush that Saiyan with my bare hands." Frieza looked out at the vast universe beyond the ship's window. Frieza thought, Goku, Vegeta, Beerus. The universe has forgotten true evil. The time has come to remember. Meanwhile, in the spacious garden of Bulma's estate, Goku and Vegeta sat in the shade of a tree, a gentle breeze rustling the leaves. A partially devoured empty tray of food sat beside Goku. Goku spoke. "It's still hard to believe, Vegeta. That punch, I couldn't even see it. It was as if he disappeared and appeared behind us at the same time." Vegeta, arms crossed and a serious look on his face, replied, "Tusk, Frieza didn't just surpass his limits. He humiliated us. The two of us, knocked down with a single blow." Goku lowered his head, thoughtful. Goku said, "We trained with Whis, faced Jiren, Broly, even the gods, and still we were caught off guard. He called that form Black Frieza, right?" Vegeta spoke with suppressed anger. 4 months? 4 measly months in an advanced training dimension. That's what it took him to surpass the gods." Goku replied, Maybe we really did get soft. You with your daughter, me going to silly tournaments with Pan. And he only thought about power." Vegeta said, "But now Frieza is silent. No attacks, no provocations." That bothers me. Frieza never acts without a plan. Goku looked up at the sky, his expression turning serious for the first time in hours. Goku said, "What if he's raising an army or bringing someone back?" Returning to the greatest emperor in the entire universe, crossing galaxies until he reached Frieza's ship, stationed in orbit around a dark star, the steel doors slowly opened, revealing a dark and vast room. It was the chamber where Frieza had trained alone for so long, a space created with advanced technology, where time flowed differently. A year inside was equivalent to only one day in the real world. In the center of the metallic hole, a dim light illuminated the silver body of Metal Cooler. He was on his knees in a meditative position. His eyes were closed, and his breathing, though partly artificial, had been adjusted to simulate total concentration. Frieza's voice echoed through the room, recorded on multiple sound systems. Frieza's recording: "Anger makes you stronger, but control is what defines the victors. Don't rely on brutality, trust in calculation. At the right moment, a single blow is enough." Metal Cooler slowly opened his eyes. His reflexes were activated. Suddenly, from the wall, small drones appeared, firing beams of light and energy spheres. It was the automatic reflex system. Cooler leaped to his feet, dodging each attack with precision. His movements were not only quick, they were coldly calculated. He spun, ducked, and retreated. Not a single beam touched him. Metal Cooler thought, "This chamber, it's breaking me down and rebuilding me every minute. Every second, my body adapts, learns, evolves. Frieza, you brought me back as a weapon, but I will prove I am more than that." He stopped moving, took a deep breath, and returned to his meditation. The lights dimmed. The system went into sleep mode, but Cooler's mind wouldn't stop. Metal Cooler thought, "Goku, that bastard destroyed me, but this time it will be different. My body is now pure evil and more powerful. My energy is recycled. My mind is clean. And when I leave this chamber, I want to face him and destroy him." The PA system started playing again. Frieza's recording: "Your greatest weakness has always been pride, thinking you were superior without testing your limits. This chamber doesn't forgive failures. Only those who abandon their ego survive here." Cooler kept his eyes closed, feeling every particle of energy around him. Gravity increased, 10-fold, 50-fold, 100-fold, until his knees touched the ground. Metal Cooler spoke. Gravity increased again. His body creaked, his metallic frame vibrated, but he didn't fall. Metal Cooler spoke with effort. "Still, it's not enough." Frieza outside watched his brother's progress through a screen. His gaze was cold, calculating. Frieza thought, "He's evolving faster than I expected, even without an organic soul. His instinct for destruction is pure. Maybe he should spend more time in there. Maybe 2 years." He pressed a button. The time chamber slowed time even further inside the training space. Frieza spoke to himself. "Soon, the universe will experience a new horror. Not just Black Frieza, but the metallic blade of my fury." On planet Earth, Goku watched the sky, still restless. Goku said, "You know, Vegeta, there's something I can't get out of my head. Frieza defeated us and simply disappeared. He could have finished us off right there." Vegeta replied, "That's what bothers me the most. If he hasn't attacked, it's because he's still preparing for something much bigger." Goku crossed his arms, "And when he returns, he won't be alone." Vegeta said, "We." Vegeta said with narrowed eyes, "Let him come. I'm ready." They looked up at the sky together, and a distant glow flickered as if something far away was waking up. The chamber's heavy doors opened with a sharp hiss. Steam and energy escaped through the cracks as Metal Cooler's silhouette emerged from the mist. He walked slowly, unhurriedly. His red eyes glowed more intensely, and even though he showed no physical changes, his presence was overwhelming. Frieza watched from a distance, arms crossed. No words were spoken, but his eyes analyzed every detail with cruel precision. Frieza thought, nothing has changed externally. No different armor, no new layers. But this key could crush a god of destruction effortlessly. For a moment, his tail stiffened, a shiver he wouldn't admit even to himself. Maybe my brother is now more powerful than me, but he can't know that. Frieza took a deep breath, disguising his unease with a restrained smile. Metal Cooler approached and without a word stood before him. The tension between them was as thick as molten steel. Without warning, Frieza stepped even closer to his brother. "Are you ready? Let's pay a visit to the birthplace of arrogance." A few days passed and the sky opened with the arrival of an approaching ship. Goku and Vegeta were already positioned, alert. The presence was familiar, and yet different. The ship's ramp began to descend. Frieza stepped out first, his expression thick with disdain. Goku frowned. "Did you come alone, Frieza?" Frieza merely breathed, and without responding, his body began to emit an intense black aura. His skin darkened, his eyes becoming empty and deadly. The transformation into Black Frieza shook the ground, but he wasn't the one who would fight. He raised his hand, pointing behind him. "Today, the one who will play with you is my brother." Goku stepped forward. "Brother!" Vegeta raised an eyebrow. "What brother?" The answer came with the heavy sound of metallic footsteps descending the ramp. The gleaming, imposing figure descended calmly. Metal Cooler stared at the two Saiyans with absolute neutrality. Vegeta laughed. "You brought recycled scrap metal to fight for you, Frieza. That's pathetic." But Goku didn't laugh. His gaze was fixed on the newcomer. "Wait! There's something wrong with him! He's different." Metal Cooler stopped a few meters away. No visible transformation, no explosive aura, but his power began to leak out, invisible and devastating. The ground began to crack around him. Trees twisted, rocks floated. Goku and Vegeta felt the impact immediately. Vegeta staggered back a step. "This can't be. He didn't transform into anything, and yet this power." Goku clenched his fists. "He's unleashing everything without any form. It's pure raw power." The pressure increased, suffocating. The air seemed denser, and then in the blink of an eye, Metal Cooler vanished. The impact came like thunder. With a single blow, he struck Goku in the stomach. The Saiyan was launched like a missile into the nearby mountain, sinking into it with a crash. Vegeta tried to react, but the blow had already landed. A sidekick struck his rib, knocking him out before he even touched the ground. Silence. The dust settled. Goku and Vegeta lay unconscious on the ground, defeated as easily as squashing an insect. Metal Cooler landed softly, his gaze still expressionless. His robotic voice cut through the silence like a blade. "Eliminating you here would be a waste." He approached the bodies, raising his head proudly. "You two will be my pawns, my soldiers." He looked out at the horizon, where the city stretched out in tranquility, oblivious to what had just happened. "And planet Earth, it has an owner now." His tone was definitive. There was no arrogance, only absolute certainty. "I rule here. I am Metal Cooler." Frieza watched from a distance, arms crossed, satisfied, and deep down uncomfortable. The universe had just met its new emperor, and he was no longer Frieza. Guys, and so we conclude another epic story on the channel. In addition to Frieza, now his brother Metal Cooler has surpassed the Saiyans. Will Goku be able to surpass his limits and defeat Metal Cooler? Comment if you'd like to see a rematch, and of course leave a like and become a member of the channel.